Hey, I'm Anthony Romano, and this video is going to tell you why whey protein is actually not just about the total amount of protein. It actually is a supplement that's used for a very different purpose, and nobody talks about this. That purpose is basically the insulinagenic effect of whey protein. And that's what the topic of this video is about, because it's going to help you get more muscle gain and basically make you look at whey protein in a different light entirely. Because whey protein is not just about cramming more total protein into your day, although that is a large part of it. But I'll explain in this video. Before I get into it, like the video. That will help me out tremendously because it will make YouTube show my videos to more people who have similar interests to you. That's all you have to do to help me out, and the worst case scenario, you see more of my videos in your feed. If you want to watch them, you watch them and learn some more great pieces of knowledge. But if you don't, you just don't watch it, you keep scrolling. Easy. Also, subscribe to me here, follow my Instagram, and go to my website, romanoketo.com, if you want to learn more about these things, work one-on-one coaching style with me. I have other programs, books dropping, other stuff like that. And I also have a link to a ketone supplement giveaway I'm doing currently, which you can read the rules in the description for. Let's get into the video. So, this video is going to just explain one key aspect of whey protein that nobody talks about, and that is the insulinogenic effect of whey protein. So, here's a whey protein isolate I have. This is a naturally sweetened one, which is one thing you should also consider, because most whey proteins, they add in high fructose corn syrup or a sulfate potassium, sucralose. They use a lot of artificial ingredients that are designed to make you like the product and basically overexcite your brain as a response to consuming it. So, get a natural sweetened protein, and I have links to them in the description as well. This one is Rivalus Native Pro. I don't have a link to this one down below, but I do have other ones listed. Also, I've written an entire book, and it's free, on whey protein. It's the Ketogenic Whey Protein Guide, but it's not just for keto dieting. It's for all purposes of whey protein and the insulinogenic effects of them. Okay, that's what it looks like. Link in the description. Let's get into this, okay? Whey protein. Most people look at protein supplements as just getting in more protein, because everybody looks at things in this sort of quantitative way. They look at it as, you need more protein, get more protein, but there's no, consideration as to the quality of the protein. One of the things with whey protein is that it's basically delivering a highly bioavailable source of complete protein, okay? So all the essential amino acids, and basically in the proper ratio so they can be absorbed properly. But that's not the, centerpiece of this video yet. That's just one consideration, because I want you to start opening your mind to the quality of certain foods, the quality of nutritional approaches, because it's not just about the total quantity, which is what everybody nowadays seems to never shut up about. Of course, that is beneficial, and you will need a certain adequate amount of protein, adequate amount of certain amino acids, adequate training stimulus, adequate calories, okay, depending on if you're bulking or cutting. But the main distinction here that nobody talks about is that whey is probably the most insulinogenic food out there. So what the hell does that mean? That means that whey protein spikes your insulin the most. Insulin is basically referred to as the fat storage hormone. It's essentially the most anabolic hormone in your body, and it facilitates glucose, amino acids getting into your muscle tissue and basically transporting other nutrients to certain parts of your body. It also lowers your blood sugar, and that's why when you eat high glucose foods, high sugar foods, you are going to get a massive insulin spike, but with a bunch of sugar. And the insulin's basically released in response to the sugar to lower it, because if you had too high blood sugar, you would die. If you also had too low blood sugar, you would die. But that is the role of insulin. It escorts those nutrients to where they need to go in the body. And the main benefit for this in a muscle building context is that if you if you take in a high insulin protein, and basically what that's going to do is it's going to just cram all the amino acids into the muscle tissue. This is exactly what you want, and this is why it is beneficial to have, a whey protein strategically. However, that does not mean you need to have lean protein all the time. I have a video on that. It does not mean you need to have, whey protein all the time, or that it's better in a certain way. It simply means that strategically, if you work out, you are raising your insulin sensitivity. And then, especially if you're in a keto diet context, you will absolutely do that even more, or a fasting context. But the thing is, once you get that insulin spike after a workout, the very contrast between that heightening that insulin sensitivity because you're stressing out the body, working out, and then slamming a highly insulinogenic protein, especially if you get a hydrolyzed protein, that is basically where they remove the water from within the protein. basically that will create a higher insulin response, and that will create a more anabolic response, a better muscle building response, because it's cramming the protein exactly where it needs to go in the body. And granted, I don't think this is something people should take multiple times a day, because again, cramming your insulin up high, if you're not insulin sensitive, is not going to do what it needs to do. It's going to cause you to store fat. The benefit is that there's no sugar coupled with this, or at least if you get a good protein supplement, there's no sugar packed with it. And when you are having this controlled, isolated insulin response with high quality protein, all the essential amino acids, that is going to be the best recipe for actually repairing muscle tissue. Now, granted, of course, you can build this up with other foods, and that should always be the backdrop of your life. These are supplements. They're not meant to replace your diet. They're meant to supplement it. But in a muscle building context, in my experience, in my client experience, in all the research I've seen, people benefit from a whey protein supplement simply because of in my opinion, the effectiveness of the amino acids getting delivered from, again, also playing into that high insulin spike and just really heightening the sensitivity and then slamming a highly insulinogenic protein. That is essentially the main premise of whey products, and I don't understand why people don't talk about those things. They tend to only look at whey protein as a quantitative, it's protein, I can just eat a chicken breast instead. You can, but if you really want to maximize anabolic response, you're going to heighten the insulin sensitivity and then slam it. That's what's going to happen. And that's why in other videos I talk about having whey post-workout. That's why in this guide I say that whey protein after a workout is beneficial. Doesn't mean it's necessary for muscle growth, but it's one simple way to take an extra step to milk out more muscle gains. I also have videos on that contradict this in a certain way because of the egg bulking methods I use, right? Which are basically consuming high amounts of eggs, and basically they're fattier. They do contain the essential amino acids, and they're amazing sources of leucine, which is one of the most, prominent stimulators of muscle tissue rebuilding. Basically, it's the primary dictator, leucine availability. But essentially, the main point here is, even though I have stuff that contradicts this and says, lots of protein sources that are slower digesting, it's not as if you need whey protein to make muscle gains. It's simply that is the whole premise of whey protein as a product. And that's the whole premise. It's not about simply, to replace a chicken breast. And in my opinion, that would not be worth it as a purchase anyways. You're buying this stuff to, in a muscle building context, slam that insulin response, and right after the training session, your insulin sensitivity is momentarily higher. Your body will react to the stressor and try to super compensate for the stress and basically build more muscle tissue. That's how we made it through generations of evolutionary history. We went through stress, and that stress increased our sensitivity to overcompensating and in repair and basically adaptation. So that is it for this video, okay? This one was brief. It's meant to be very quick on whey protein, and also telling you, get this whey protein guide. It explains everything. There's a cheat sheet, link in the description. It's free, okay? It's on my website. And besides that, thank you for watching this video. Leave a like, and I'm Anthony Romano. Peace.